in court tomorrow as well.
Annalise, we'll talk to you soon. Returning to our top story now on this report on modelling of Labor's energy plans. With me, the Minister, Josh Frydenberg. Minister, thanks very much for your time. In relation to the modelling, Labor says it's 100% wrong, that it's not on their policy.
Well, the Climate Change Authority has modelled an emissions intensity scheme which leads to 50% renewables. Now, that is the Labor Party's policy. As recently as last Thursday, Deputy Leader of the Labor Party, Tanya Plibersek, stated that the emissions intensity scheme was their preferred model. And we've heard Mark Butler, the Shadow Energy and Climate Change Minister, say that they want to stick to their 50% renewable energy target. Now, what is most damning about this modelling result is that it shows that Labor's proposal will lead to higher energy bills on average by $192 per year. Now, as you know, we have advice from the Energy Security Board that the National Energy Guarantee will actually lead to a saving of $115 a year. So there's a more than $300 difference when it comes to just one part of the energy bill.
That's if it was about Labor's policy, but this is...
Will you tell me what Labor's policy is, Kieran?
Well, Labor's policy was an emissions intensity scheme, but not an internationally linked emissions intensity scheme. And so what their argument is that this modelling is based on an internationally linked EIS with a price of $69 per tonne. Well, they're saying that's not their plan.
Well, they shouldn't be blaming the umpire. They should be getting on with the game.
They're saying that the umpire's ruling the wrong game.
No, it's wrong because Labor has not done their own modelling. The Climate Change Authority has modelled an emissions intensity scheme. So there's a $300...
But an internationally linked one.
There's a $300 difference. Well, if Labor's got their own modelling to see what the cost of their own scheme is, let's see it.
But it would be less if it wasn't internationally linked, wouldn't it?
Let's see it. And the other damning point of this modelling that's been done is that you'll see 17,000 megawatts of coal go out of the system by 2030. That's equivalent to 10 Hazelwoods. That's 75% of the national electricity market.
But that's if it was Labor's plan, but it's not.
Well, what is Labor's plan?
But as I said, it's an EIS that's not internationally linked. This modelling, according to Labor, is done on the basis of a price of $69 per tonne. That's wrong.
Let's see Labor's modelling and let's then make that judgment, because right now Labor's policy is an emissions intensity scheme with 50% renewables. That has been particularly modelled by the Climate Change Authority, and the result is a $300 difference for higher electricity bills under Labor than compared to the Coalition. And that's not even taking into account the work that we've been doing on reducing the poles and wire companies, the retailers, the better deals there, and of course bringing down gas prices.
But isn't it rich for you to be saying that Labor should stump up modelling? You haven't provided the modelling. In fact, Rob Heffernan, the Secretary of your department, says last night there's no documentation in the department about your plan, let alone modelling.
Kieran, we've made it very clear that there is modelling that will be underway and made available to the Labor Party in a matter of weeks, because we have a meeting of the COAG Energy Council at the end of November. We want to see the Labor Party's modelling for their emissions intensity scheme, which their Deputy Leader has said is their preferred model, which will basically sell out all the workers in Newcastle, sell out all the workers in the Hunter, sell out all the workers in the Latrobe Valley, sell out all the workers in Gladstone. Labor has turned its back on the working class. Labor has turned its back on the blue-collar workers that have built the Labor Party through the union movement, because they're appealing now to the green left wing of their own party in order to win votes in inner-city seats.
But you say you want to end the climate wars, but it doesn't sound like it today. You sound like you well and truly got the guns out and you know, calling for modelling when you haven't stumped up your own.
Well, let's compare Labor's policy to ours, and let's get the Labor Party on board for the National Energy Guarantee, which has received overwhelming support from the energy industry, from the major groups in our community that represent business interests, irrigators, that represent the farmers, that represent a number of the different interests who are affected by high energy prices. And just today, We also have reports that the Business Council of Australia, which represent millions of Australian workers through the companies that are its members, have written to all state premiers and chief ministers calling on them to support the National Energy Guarantee, something that the Labor Party should do as well if they want a more reliable system, a more affordable system, and want to keep people.
But if you want to have a truce in the climate wars, as you said yesterday in Parliament, you want to end it, why
look at Labor's policy?
Why are you picking a fight?
Why look at Labor's policy? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm just saying you're trying to inflate now a policy the Labor says is not their policy, and
Kieran,
is that a way to achieve a truce?
You and I are just as confused about Labor's policy as the rest of the public is, because last week
you warned of a $66 billion bill. Where's that come from?
Okay, so the $66 billion bill is a reflection of their 45% emissions reduction target and how to pull a pro rata amount out of the electricity sector. That leads to $66 billion worth of subsidies under that policy.
Above your
Well, we don't have any subsidies.
spend.
We don't have any subsidies.
So $66 billion for the renewable energy sector, is that where the cost would be?
Out of the electricity sector, correct.
Okay, so again, is it based on this modelling or what modelling?
Well, that is based on modelling that has been done to show how much subsidies you would need to do to take out 45% emissions out of the electricity sector.
You're not overcooking it, saying $66 billion?
No. I presented it to the party room. The document was made public. Everyone can see. We haven't heard Labor counter that document.
Minister, thanks for your time.
Good to be with you.